All right, I'm going to show you quickly how to enable the cloning feature for data sources in DEIMS. So why is that important? Sometimes that feature is not enabled by default. So and you need actually to go and do that. So without further ado, let me see if I can screen share with you. And all right, so they should be going on. Here I'm showing you a site, which is the Plum Island site, and the data sets, which are boatload of them, are in the system by now. But you need to have, for example, a cloning feature. I'm going to select this data set, which is the meteorological data set. The cloning feature should be in the data source tab. So here is the title of the data set, the identifier, little abstract, and so on. This is the most basic info in this tab. And then there are all these other tabs. If you are familiar with DEIMS, you probably know some of them, or all of them, hopefully. The personnel tab, for example, which contains the creator of the data set and so on. The data sources, you see how there is not a cloning button here, or there is not a data source anyway. So that's where you should see one. Or let's pick another data set to make it more obvious, because this doesn't really show it well. So let me pick a GIS data set, which already have some of them a data set associated with them. So you see there is an edit and remove, but you expect to see here a clone button, and because in case that you have another data source associated with this data set that is very close, and to save you some work. So let me show you how to do that. That's probably because of the field associated with the data source in the data set. It doesn't have that feature. So go to structure, content types, data set, manage fields, and this content type has a bunch of fields. One of them, of course, you have to be an admin or a person with admin rights to do this. But here it is the data source fields, which is an entity reference, which uses a widget that is called the inline entity form, a really cool widget. So I'm going to edit this field. I'm going to show you the settings and tell you what is going on, right? So here's the label used for this field. And what it says in the setting is that users cannot do nodes, but then we want also users to add existing nodes using a widget that has an autocomplete matching, and let's allow users to clone nodes. So these two features were disabled by default. We want to enable them, and that way that button will show there. Okay, there are other settings, but for now I'm not gonna do anything about them. I'm just gonna save this one setting. That's what you wanted to do. That's how you enable it. So if we go back now to the home page and go back to the GIS data sets like we did before, and we pick just the first one, why not? And now we edit to add a new draft and go to the data source tab. Then now you see that you have the clone button because we enabled that in the field. Now we also have the use existing data source. What that will enable is to associate a data source that is already in the system, in the database. So by just virtue of clicking those two boxes in the settings of the field and saving it, I added these two buttons, and that's pretty much all. That was very, very simple. All right, guys, so that's all I wanted to say by now. Have a good time.